There's been more conversations around the investment needed for South Dunedin's stormwater infrastructure coming out of the DCC, these conversations. Dr. Laura McElhorn has been talking about what needs to happen to the stormwater in South Dunedin to provide for what's been described as higher frequency, lower impact issues. Now, what that basically means is not the floods of last year. I think this is really clear that we should point this out. What's being talked about is a 1 in 10 year event, and what needs to be done to the infrastructure within South Dunedin to handle a 1 in 10 year event. Now, Dean, you were involved in the 1 in 100 year event.
Yep.
In fact, some sources said 1 in 160 year event that we had last year in South Dunedin with the flooding. My concern is this doesn't address that.
No.
So people who are reading this going, oh, finally we're sorting out the problems with stormwater. This doesn't address what happened last year, and it won't.
No, and I think, I mean, there's a quote in the paper you gave me about it's something for next year's the new council to look at. For goodness sake, I mean, when is anybody going to make a decision on this? I mean, I just thought the handling of this by the council was outrageous, basically. People were flooded out of their homes, and it just took ages. I mean, and we had a story today about some guys finally got permission to knock down a flood-damaged house and put new apartments up. And I just think, I mean, it's just like, it's your problem, you deal with it.
Interesting, in the latest rounds of conversations, Dr. McElhorn wouldn't actually commit to a dollar figure.
Yep.
But the ODT reports in May, let's have a look at that graphic Q8, at a council meeting in May, Dr. McElhorn estimated upgrading the entire city's stormwater network so it could withstand a 1 in 10 year storm event could cost hundreds of millions, if not more than $1 billion. Now, when I start to hear that kind of money, $1 billion for a 1 in 10 year event, that means, and I'm being a bit pedantic and silly here, if it was a 1 in 11 or 12 year event, it's not going to be set up to survive it. Certainly a 1 in 100 year event is not. When we're talking $1 billion, I have to ask the question, as unpopular as it may be, what would it cost to relocate all those houses?
Yeah, well,
what would it cost to relocate those people? Is it going to be $1 billion? Because if it's far less, it has to be an option on the table for at least the conversation.
Well, that's, and Mayor Dave Cull got into a bit of bother earlier on by suggesting there should be a gradual withdrawal from South Dunedin because of rising water levels in the south. And there's no doubt that's happening. Groundwater levels are higher, and climate warming, rising sea levels and that sort of thing. The trouble is with that, of course, and people are so ingrained and this is our community and stuff, I think it would cost more because people just want outrageous compensation to leave.
Well, sometimes that's a little bit beyond them, though. I have a friend who was living in a 1 in 100 year floodplain, not in Dunedin, somewhere else, and the council went, we're buying your house. Sorry, you're gone. Now, they gave her a fair market rate, there was a valuation, it was all done properly. I understand, and that's why I'll be the unpopular one to say this publicly, but sometimes councils, local bodies, central, can make rules that you have to abide by. I mean, ask the people in Christchurch, no matter what. Look, all I'm saying is if we're going to have a conversation where we put $1 billion into infrastructure for a 1 in 10 year event, we have to have at least on the table the conversation of withdrawal and what that's going to cost us. But because not only are waters rising, but there's been reports in the ODT in the last few weeks that in parts of South Dunedin the ground is sinking as well. So we're not looking at a 1 in 100 year thing. It might be in 10, 15, 20 years time. Many of those houses are going to have to go anyway. Rather than putting $1 billion into the infrastructure now, that's going to have to be readdressed in 20 years. Let's at least put that conversation on the table.
Absolutely, yep, I agree with that. It has to be part of it. I mean, because parts of Tainui, just in a light rain, the front lawns now are just waterlogged. I mean, not waterlogged, I mean, there's that much water lying on them, so their water's not going anywhere. You know, it just takes ages to drain away. So, yep, good suggestion. And you will be unpopular, and that's fine.